In the quiet, trembling hours of a midnight that seemed to carry the weight of every unspoken secret, I begin to recount the extraordinary tale of Daniel, a young man whose heart burned with a passionate, unwavering love, only to be shattered by a betrayal as cold and mysterious as the winter wind. It is a story of love, deception, and a relentless quest for truth, a story that unfolds like the petals of a night-blooming flower, revealing hidden layers beneath a facade of beauty. Daniel's life had always been marked by an innocence that bordered on poetic. Born into a humble family in a small town where the horizon was painted with sprawling fields and quiet streets, he was a dreamer with eyes full of wonder and hope. His world transformed the moment he encountered Elena at a local art festival, where music danced in the air and laughter wove through every conversation. Elena was enchanting, her smile a subtle invitation to a life of shared dreams, and her eyes, deep and enigmatic, promised secrets that whispered of adventures yet to come. In Daniel's eyes, she was not merely a girlfriend. She was the embodiment of every hope his heart had ever nurtured. For a long time, their love story blossomed in the warm embrace of spring. Daniel would spend entire afternoons sketching in his worn-out notebook, capturing fleeting moments of Elena's laughter and the gentle sway of her hair in the breeze. Every gesture, every shared glance, fortified the delicate bridge of trust between them. Yet, as the seasons changed, so too did the hues of their relationship. Unbeknownst to Daniel, the threads of their once pure connection began to fray, entangled in a web of deceit that would soon engulf them both. It all started with subtle hints, a message left unanswered, a call that never came, and the occasional shadow that crossed Elena's radiant face when she thought no one was watching. Daniel, with his heart full of devotion, dismissed these omens as the natural ebbs and flows of life. But in the quiet hours of the night, when the silence was broken only by the distant cry of a lone owl, doubt began to creep into his mind like a persistent specter. A nagging suspicion told him that behind the veil of their love lay secrets too painful to acknowledge. One cold, drizzly evening, as the rain tapped softly against the window pane, Daniel's resolve to seek the truth solidified. His intuition, honed by years of quietly observing the world around him, insisted that there was more to Elena's mysterious behavior than he had ever imagined. With a heavy heart and trembling hands, he decided to follow her one evening, a decision that would set him on a path laden with danger, deception, and unexpected revelations. Under the cover of darkness, Daniel trailed Elena through narrow, labyrinthine alleys and bustling streets that he had never truly seen before. The city, normally so familiar, transformed into a maze of shadow and light, where every corner held the promise of discovery or peril. At a small, inconspicuous cafe with a flickering neon sign, he finally saw her. Elena, laughing softly and speaking in hushed tones with a stranger whose face was obscured by the low light. The sight was a brutal revelation, a fracture in the carefully constructed illusion of their love. In that instant, Daniel's heart shattered, each broken fragment echoing with betrayal and sorrow. Yet, as painful as the discovery was, it also ignited within him a spark of determination. No longer would he allow his life to be dictated by unspoken lies and hidden agendas. With his mind set on uncovering the truth, Daniel embarked on an investigation that would unravel a conspiracy far greater than a mere act of personal betrayal. Every secret, every whispered conversation, every carefully hidden clue began to form a tapestry of deceit that stretched beyond the confines of his small town. His quest for truth took him deep into the underbelly of a world he had never imagined existed, a realm where power and corruption intertwined in a dance of manipulation. Daniel's investigation led him to clandestine meetings in abandoned warehouses, late-night rendezvous with shadowy figures, and cryptic messages hidden in the margins of everyday life. Along the way, he encountered a diverse cast of characters, an exiled journalist whose once illustrious career had been ruined by political intrigue, a reclusive hacker with a troubled past who had long harbored secrets of the powerful elite, and a brave whistleblower willing to risk everything to bring the truth to light. As Daniel delved deeper into the mystery, the layers of deception revealed themselves one after another. It emerged that Elena was entangled with a secret organization, a network of influential individuals who operated behind a facade of respectability while orchestrating elaborate schemes for their own gain. She was not merely a victim of circumstance, but an active participant in a complex game of manipulation and power. The realization that his beloved had been an unwitting, or perhaps even willing, agent in a vast conspiracy left Daniel reeling with anguish and disbelief. Haunted by the knowledge of his own betrayal, Daniel found himself grappling with conflicting emotions. His heart, once a wellspring of unconditional love, now beat with the bitter cadence of revenge and regret. But amid the storm of his inner turmoil, he also discovered an unexpected reservoir of strength. The man who had once been defined solely by his capacity for love now found purpose in exposing a system that thrived on secrecy and exploitation. His journey became not only a personal quest for closure, but also a mission to dismantle the sinister network that had manipulated so many lives. In the months that followed, Daniel's relentless pursuit of the truth led him through a series of perilous encounters. There were nights when the cold rain mingled with his tears as he pored over countless documents, piecing together the hidden connections that linked Elena to the clandestine organization. He began to understand that her betrayal was but a single thread in a vast tapestry of corruption that reached into the highest echelons of power. Every new revelation was like a gust of wind stirring the embers of a long-dormant fire, a fire fueled by the desire for justice and the need to reclaim a world where truth had been obscured by lies. One particularly harrowing night, as a tempest raged outside and the sky was split by lightning, Daniel found himself cornered in an abandoned building on the outskirts of the city. The building, once a grand estate now reduced to rubble and decay, served as a clandestine meeting point for those who dared to challenge the status quo. Inside, in a dimly lit room lined with dusty shelves and the remnants of forgotten memories, Daniel met with a former insider, a man whose eyes betrayed a lifetime of regret and guilt. This mysterious figure, known only as Malik, held the key to unlocking many of the organization's secrets. With a voice heavy with sorrow, Malik recounted the dark history of the syndicate, revealing how it had manipulated not only individual lives, but entire communities, all in the name of power and control. As Daniel absorbed Malik's revelations, he felt both a surge of hope and a deepening dread. The more he learned, the more he realized how intricately the threads of corruption were woven into the fabric of society. Each piece of evidence he uncovered, each secret whispered in shadowed corners, painted a picture of a world where the innocent were sacrificed on the altar of ambition. And yet, despite the overwhelming odds, Daniel pressed on, driven by a singular belief that the truth, no matter how elusive, was worth the price of personal sacrifice. In a dramatic twist of fate, Daniel's investigation led him back to Elena. Their paths crossed again on a chilly autumn evening in a deserted industrial district, where the echoes of forgotten machinery provided a haunting backdrop to their final confrontation. The encounter was charged with an intensity that defied words, an electric collision of past love, burning betrayal, and the desperate need for redemption. Under the flickering light of a lone street lamp, Elena's eyes met Daniel's, and in that gaze lay an ocean of sorrow, regret, and unspoken apologies. With voices trembling in the cold night air, they exchanged words that carried the weight of years lost and innocence betrayed. Elena, with tears glistening in her eyes, confessed that she had been ensnared in a web of coercion and blackmail, forced to play a role in a game far larger than she had ever anticipated. Her voice, at once both remorseful and resigned, revealed the painful truth. The organization's grip was far stronger than either of them had imagined, and her betrayal had been a means of survival in a ruthless world where loyalty was a luxury few could afford. That fateful confrontation was a turning point for Daniel. It crystallized the dual nature of his journey, a path marked by both personal heartbreak and a broader mission for justice. The encounter left him with more questions than answers, but it also forged within him an unyielding resolve. Determined to dismantle the network that had shattered his life, Daniel turned his focus to exposing the corruption that had infected every corner of society. With Malik's assistance and the reluctant cooperation of other brave souls who had suffered at the hands of the syndicate, he began to compile a damning dossier of evidence, one that would shake the foundations of power and bring the hidden machinations of the elite into the unforgiving light of day. In the ensuing months, the city became a battleground of ideologies and wills. Secret meetings were held in hushed tones in cramped apartments, and underground networks sprang into existence as more people joined Daniel's cause. The movement, though fragile and scattered, grew steadily as whispers of corruption and treachery resonated with a public weary of injustice. Daniel emerged as a reluctant leader, a beacon of defiance in a world marred by deceit. His every step was shadowed by the constant threat of retribution, as the powerful forces he was up against mobilized to silence him. There were close calls, heart-stopping chases through rain-soaked streets, and moments when the very air seemed charged with danger. Yet, amid the chaos, Daniel's conviction never wavered. As the evidence mounted and the pressure on the secret organization intensified, a wave of public outrage swept across the city. Major media outlets, initially cautious, began to pick up on the hints of scandal that had been leaking from the underground. Investigative reporters, inspired by Daniel's unwavering determination, dug deeper into the labyrinth of corruption. Public rallies erupted, with thousands of voices demanding accountability and justice. In a rare moment of unity, the people rallied behind the cause of exposing the hidden puppeteers who had long manipulated their lives from the shadows. But just as victory seemed within reach, a final, harrowing twist threatened to shatter everything Daniel had worked so tirelessly to build. Late one night, as a bitter wind howled through the deserted streets, Daniel received an anonymous message, a warning that his every move was being watched, and that the next step in his crusade could cost him everything. The message, cryptic yet laden with menace, hinted at betrayal from within his own circle. Paranoia crept in like a relentless tide, and even as Daniel pushed forward, he began to question the loyalties of those who had joined his cause. Was the enemy truly external, or had the machinations of the syndicate found a way to infiltrate the very heart of the resistance? The tension reached a fever pitch during a clandestine gathering in an abandoned factory on the outskirts of town. The atmosphere was thick with suspicion as Daniel laid out the final pieces of his evidence, a meticulously organized collection of documents, testimonies, and digital files that painted an unassailable portrait of corruption. As he spoke, his voice resonated with both passion and sorrow, a testament to the countless nights of sleepless determination and the unbearable weight of personal loss. The faces in the crowd, illuminated by the flickering light of a single, battered lamp, reflected a mixture of hope and trepidation. In that charged moment, Daniel made a solemn vow that he would not rest until every hidden corner of the conspiracy was exposed, no matter the personal cost. In the days that followed, the city braced itself for a reckoning. The resistance, now more united than ever, launched a series of coordinated efforts to disseminate Daniel's findings to the public. High-ranking officials were forced to step down, and long-held secrets began to unravel in a cascade of public apologies and resignations. Yet, the victory was bittersweet. Daniel's personal journey, marked by the betrayal of the woman he once loved, had left scars that time alone might never heal. Even as the light of justice broke through the darkness of deceit, the echoes of lost love and shattered dreams lingered in the silent spaces of his heart. And so, as I recount this saga, a tapestry woven from threads of passion, betrayal, and unyielding courage, I invite you to reflect on the timeless truth that even in the face of overwhelming darkness, The human spirit has an uncanny capacity to rise, to challenge, and to seek out the light of truth. Daniel's journey, though born of personal heartbreak, became a beacon for all those who have ever been deceived by the veneer of false promises. It reminds us that every betrayal carries within it the seeds of redemption, and that even the most fractured of hearts can rebuild, piece by fragile piece, into a testament of resilience and hope. In the end, as the city slowly emerged from the shadows of corruption, Daniel stood alone, no longer the naive young man who had once placed his trust so freely, but a warrior forged in the crucible of loss and triumph. His story continues to echo through the corridors of time, a narrative that teaches us that the pursuit of truth is fraught with peril, yet illuminated by moments of profound beauty and grace. And though the scars of betrayal may never fully fade, they serve as a constant reminder that in the battle between light and darkness, it is the courage to confront our deepest wounds that ultimately leads us to a new dawn. Thus, as I draw this tale to a close, remember that within every heart lies the potential for both immense love and the capacity to endure unimaginable pain. And in that delicate balance, there is always the possibility of transformation, a chance to turn the bitter ashes of deceit into the embers of a future reborn, where truth, justice, and hope prevail over even the darkest of conspiracies.